This video is going to be all about how you vegan lifters can get enough protein within your diet. Now, this is actually a commonly asked question. I get asked this a lot. How can I get my protein, or what sources should I get my protein from? And I feel like with a lot of the vegan community starting to go to the gym now, it's very important that everyone knows what they want to be doing and the principles and tips and tricks that you want to be doing in your diet and in your lifestyle to set you up in the best possible position to make those gains. Now, problem number one for you vegans is all about protein digestibility. Now, compared to an omnivore, who I'd recommend to have 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of their body weight if they're going to the gym and if they're wanting to progress their lifts and make gains, for vegan it's going to be a little bit different. Now, in terms of the difference between plant-based protein and animal-based protein, your body will absorb upwards of around 90% of that protein within your body. Now, plant-based protein, you're looking between 60 and 80%. So, because of that, you're going to have to make up the protein and eat extra protein within your diet to make sure your body's absorbing enough to repair and recover the muscles that you're breaking down. So as you can see on the screen, I've just put up a little bar chart, and this is just talking about the protein digestibility of various protein sources. On the left-hand side, in the purple, we can see plant-based proteins, and on the right-hand side, in turquoise, we can see animal-based proteins. Now, you may be thinking there's not really much difference between the digestibility between the two, but it is significant. Now, if you're wanting to set your body up in the best possible way to build muscle and gain strength, you're going to have to require a larger overall protein intake to account for the lower digestibility of the plant-based sources. So the big question is, how much protein should you vegan lifters be eating? Now, I can see why this is so confusing, because if you look online and if you look at literature, some people are saying 0.3 grams and some people are saying 3 grams per pound of body weight. And it's kind of hard to pick an area and go, yeah, this is best for me. And if we look at an omnivore diet, they're eating between 0.8 and 1 gram of protein per pound of their body weight. And that's when they're going to the gym, and that's where to set themselves up in the best position for resting and recovering to build muscle. Now, in terms of a vegan, and in terms of looking at the numbers we looked at before, with poorer digestibility, it's going to be obvious that you guys are going to have to eat a little bit more. And this is just to make up for that deficit in digestibility. Now, in terms of how much you should be having, and it is down to personal recommendation, because sometimes you feel like you want more, and sometimes you feel like you're not getting enough. But personally, I think you should be eating between 1 and 1.2 grams of protein per pound of your body weight. And this is to make up for that deficit that in the poor digestibility. Now, this number will depend on whether you're in a deficit or in a surplus, because if you're in a calorie deficit and you're going to the gym and you're doing more cardio and you're trying to lose weight, your body is going to be resting and wanting to recover more, so it's going to require more protein. Now, if you're eating a calorie surplus, it's usually flipped on its head and your body doesn't need as much protein. However, you have more calories to consume, so your intake could be higher if you want. So you may be thinking, how the hell am I going to get that much protein? And yes, I agree, it is going to be a bit of a task. You are going to have to go looking for it, but I'm just going to list a few protein sources that you can include in each meal of each day. So we've got things like tofu, we've got tempeh, we've got seitan, we've got edamame beans, you've got like chickpeas, seeds, nuts, lentils, quinoa, legumes, tofu, and if you're like me, you can invest in something like some vegan protein. This is great. Each scoop is like 25 grams, so you've got 2 scoops per day after your workout. That's like 50 grams of protein knocks out of there. So yeah, that's some great protein sources. So now we know all about problem number 1, which is all about how much protein you should be consuming. Problem number 2 is about the amino acid profile of the plant-based sources of protein. And I don't know if you've heard this before, but the quality is not as good as animal-based protein. Now, when we're talking about amino acids, we're talking about 20 amino acids, 9 of which are essential and 11 of which are non-essential. And they're split up into 2 groups because the 9 essential amino acids are the ones you have to get through your diet, so you have to consume them. And the other 11 are non-essential because your body can actually produce them themselves. Now, this is the problem with plant-based protein, because this amino acid profile and the content within plant-based sources is not as good as animal-based sources. And this is just talking about the essential amino acid content of different protein sources. So the 9 essential amino acids that you have to get through your diet to help your body build muscle. Now, as you can see, on the right hand side, animal sources in turquoise, and on the left hand side, plant-based sources in purple. And there is only a minute difference, however that minute difference can play a part in how quick you're going to build muscle. Therefore, you have to make up for this by making sure you're getting enough of the amino acids that your body needs. And I thought I'd just give one special mention here to an amino acid called leucine. Leucine is absolutely essential for kick-starting that muscle protein synthesis. Now, if you think about it in terms of a car, like a car analogy, the leucine is the key. It's the one that gets it going, it turns the car on, and then the rest can work. And this is the problem with the amino acid profile of plant-based proteins. They don't contain a lot of leucine, and they don't contain a lot of essential amino acids whatsoever. So now we've identified problem number 2, and that is all about the quality of the protein, and this is referring to the amino acid profile. Now, usually there is one preferred way to up the amino acid profile of a plant-based diet. So the best thing you can do here is actually increase the amount of plant-based protein sources you eat in one meal alone. And what this is going to do is increase the overall amino acid profile of that one meal. So for example, if you eat rice and beans together, or quinoa and lentils. Now, when we look at leucine, I'm just going to put a bar chart up on the screen, and we can see the plant-based sources on the left and the animal-based sources on the right, and we can see that plant-based sources is less than the animal-based sources. So if you include soybeans and peas and rice within the one meal, you're going to significantly up that level of leucine, so you're matching, or if not bettering, the amount of leucine within an animal protein source. So this is not actually just the case for leucine, it's the same for all amino acids. So if you're eating multiple plant-based protein sources within one meal, you're going to up the overall amino acid profile and the overall quality, which means your body's going to benefit from that. Now, this protein, I have a vegan protein here, and people may have wondered why, but in this one alone, there's soy protein, pea protein, brown rice protein, and hemp protein. And this is just doing the same thing. It's including different types of proteins in there, so you can get a more diverse and complete amino acid profile. So now you vegans know how much protein you should be consuming and how you should be consuming it, so you have no excuses to be making all the gains. But yeah, that's this video wrapped up. I hope everything helped, and if you have any questions, please let me know.